they retired number 12 in Seattle for the fans. That's my segue to the fact that Russell Wilson is still making news, but not because of anything he's said or done. Cam Jordan appearing on ESPN's Get Up this morning, talking about the possibility of Russell Wilson joining the Saints and what it would mean for the Saints to have number 3, unless it's been retired, and then they'd have to unretire it for him to wear number 3. Here's Cam Jordan.
The last couple of years, you've looked at our defense. We've turned a page in our defense that have made us more complimentary towards our team as a whole. And the one thing we had been lacking, prior to the last couple of years was our defense. Now, if you give us a guy like Russell Wilson because Drew has retired, because he has deemed it so fit, I would take Russell Wilson in a heartbeat. That's it's a no-brainer.
Do you win the Super Bowl?
I think we've always been poised the last 4 years.
Do you win the Super Bowl?
So, absolutely. But that's my vision year in, year out.
That's what I'm waiting on.
Okay,
No,
I like that.
I want you to say it, Cam. No, Greeny, don't let him off the hook.
Yeah.
Cam, if you get Russell Wilson, do you have a Super Bowl ring?
I believe if Russell Wilson plays the way he did at the beginning of last season, and he plays that way throughout the whole season, absolutely.
I think Cam Jordan just said that Russell Wilson stunk in the latter part of last season.
He did.
Because the qualification is he's got to play like he did back in it when it was let Russ cook, and he's never gotten an MVP vote, and he's going to get all of them this year. Yeah, there's a couple of qualifications there. One being Russell's got to play like he did early last season. And second, Cam said, I always have the mindset that we're going to win the Super Bowl. So whoever the quarterback is, he's going to go into the season thinking they're going to win the Super Bowl. So they were trying their damnedest to get him to make some broad proclamation, and he did, but there clearly were a couple of caveats, Charean.
Well, yeah, and, I think the Seahawks, frankly, would have been Super Bowl contenders if Russ had played like he did in the first 7 games. They were 6-1, 26 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 120.8 passer rating. In those last 9 games, not so much. 14 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 91.8 rating, and then we know what happened in the postseason. He lost the Rams in the first round, 11-27, 174 yards. 2 touchdowns and an interception, and the 5 sacks. Let's not forget that. He wasn't good at the end of the season. The Seahawks would have been a Super Bowl contender if Russ had played like he did the first 7 games, but he didn't, and the Seahawks weren't. So, the Saints yearly are a Super Bowl contender. They have been since Sean Payton got there. Whoever they have at quarterback, I think we're still going to think of them as a Super Bowl contender. I think Russell Wilson to be their best option, depending on what they have to give up for him, because if you mortgage your future for him, if you have to trade a guy like Cam Jordan and several other guys and a bunch of draft picks, I guess it would be sort of like the Ricky Williams acquisition, right? When they traded their entire draft for Ricky Williams, sort of like that, and we know what happened to the Saints then. So, I more expect Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill to be the quarterback. I know Cam Jordan previously has said he thinks that Jameis Winston's going to be their quarterback. Unsigned right now, so we'll see how that plays out. But I don't expect Russell Wilson to be their quarterback, and I still expect the Saints to go into next season as a contender, Mike.
I think it would count as irony, and again, I never quite know when that term is being properly used thanks to that song from the 90s.
Yeah.
But I think it would be irony if Cam Jordan were actually traded to the Seahawks as part of the transaction that brought Russell Wilson to the New Orleans Saints. And there was a recent tweet from Cam Jordan where there were some rumors making the rounds on social media that he reacted to, acknowledging that he's not interested in being part of the trade package and he wants the great gift. Me getting traded, them rumors better stay rumors. A man goes on a bus tour with his family for 2 weeks and Russ becomes available on social media. Rumors got my name in a pot. Stop it. That's great. But hey, I've said all along, the Saints should call the Seahawks and say, just tell us who you want. Just tell us who you want, and we'll see what you want, and we'll see if we can work it out. Because they got to cut so much cap space that the Seahawks could do them a favor by trading Russell Wilson to them so they could unload guys rather than cutting them loose and getting nothing. At least you can say these guys were part of the package that we used to get Russell Wilson.
Yeah, they certainly are a team that should make a call, Mike, and at least ask the Seahawks what it would take to get Russell Wilson. If you're told no, maybe you come back and say, all right, well, here's what we would offer if, indeed, Russell Wilson went on the trading block at some point. So keep us in mind if that happens. But, he would certainly upgrade them at the quarterback position. No question about that. I think we all agree with that. It just depends on what kind of team they can put around him. But we don't know what kind of team they're going to be able to put around Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston or whatever, for that matter, with their cap problems right now.
All right, I think we've covered plenty of ground here in this opening segment. By the way, the odds makers not moved by the talk of Russell Wilson being traded. Seattle minus 1250. That means you got to bet 1250 to win a mere 100. Seattle, the overwhelming favorite for the next place where Russell Wilson takes a snap. In contrast, Deshaun Watson's plus 250, with the Panthers at plus 300. So the odds maker is much more inclined to think Watson is going to get his wish than Wilson will get his. I would make those odds, I think, a little bit longer, shorter, whatever the right word is. I think it's more likely that Wilson is gone than a minus 1250 proposition, Charean. What's your gut tell you? Is it this year? Is it next year? Is it never for Russell Wilson getting traded?
I think he's gone at some point, Mike. I'm still going to stick with, I think he plays one more year for the Seahawks, and if they can't get to the Super Bowl, I think that's it for Russell Wilson. It's been too long for them to get to the Super Bowl. He's ready to go win one. If they can't do it this year, he's going to think he has better chances elsewhere.
My concern is if they wait a year, they're going to be a lot like the Eagles with Carson Wentz, where it's going to be harder to conjure leverage, although there will be multiple teams that will want to get into a bidding war, so it doesn't matter if the Seahawks put a for sale sign in the yard at that point, because it won't just be the Colts like it was just the Colts for Carson Wentz this year. But I think a year from now it'll be more obvious that the Seahawks are ready to move on. I think once you acknowledge it's inevitable, go ahead and move on.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.